Without eye muscle specialist, I think it just looks like very overworked and tired ophthalmologists. Like, because some of the tests and things that we do help take a burden off of them. So, like, I give adults temporary prisms to put on their glasses, or I put prisms, like round in prisms, in their glasses. And that is something that is very time consuming. Like, I did it today on a patient, and it literally took an hour and a half.
Welcome to the Unknown Options, the place where we explore the unknown options, the number one source for career apprehension and accessibility. My name is Will, and today with me, Peyton. Peyton, it's great to have you here. Give us a rundown on who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Peyton. I am a pediatric orthoptist. Another word for that is just an eye muscle specialist. I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia, and yeah, I mean, what do I do? I'm a nice active member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Um, I what else do I do? I like to cook. Um, I love to scroll on Twitter. I'm very active on social media. It's low key embarrassing. But yeah, and I'm just exploring Atlanta. I'm new here, so just outside exploring.
Nice. Okay. Your journey is important, so you want to highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly. For someone who might not know, what is an eye muscle specialist?
So, an eye muscle specialist is somebody who basically works with children and adults. I work with people whose eyes like cross in, go out, like basically have a lazy eye in a sense. And I basically put a number to how much that eye deviates, and I try my best to get it straightened up. So me putting a number to it basically helps the ophthalmologist determine how they want to fix the eyes and if they want to do surgery to correct it and how much surgery they would do in order to correct it.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know cross eyes could get even fixed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't know that. And I feel like a lot of people, especially in the Black community, do not
Yeah,
know that. Because I feel like we all have at least one family member that has that and just lives with that and just has it.
hundred
But I feel
percent,
like we just as a community do not know that that is something that can be fixed. But
a
it can
hundred
be.
percent,
And I can
a
help
hundred
fix it.
percent. Okay, so how did you get started in this industry?
So I have worn glasses since I was 2 years old, and I knew when I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to major in college, that I wanted to do something medical, but I didn't want to be an actual doctor and do surgeries. So, and then like while I was in high school and college, I always had summer jobs working with kids. So I knew I wanted to do something medical with kids, but I didn't know what. And my mom said, "Well, you've been going to the eye doctor. You could be like an optometrist." So I shadowed my optometrist and literally was just so bored. Like the job just felt so boring and just wasn't doing enough for me.
Yeah.
Then after I graduated college at Hampton University, I worked as a technician for a retinal ophthalmologist, and I loved everything that I was learning and doing there. So then my mom Googled different careers in ophthalmology and found this.
Okay, nice. I love it. Okay, why is this job important, and what do you say it contributes to like general society?
So I say this job is important because a lot of people, it really helps boost people's self-esteem. Like a lot of people get judged on their appearance and how they look. And I know a lot of people will feel like who have that eye misalignment can feel insecure, can be like as kids bullied by other kids about it. It also impacts vision and like seeing 3D depth perception. So it's like it could help both your mental and physical health, and like it helps your overall sense of self. And so we can give people that correction, like realigning the eyes and help them function better. If they're children, we can help them function and have great vision in the future. And as adults, we can just help boost their self-esteem and self-confidence and mental health.
Okay, I love it. So I got a question. So when y'all fixed it, how long is the process from like start to finish usually, and when like they can like it's their eyes aligned, and does their eye like I guess the pupil does it get like straight, or is it kind of like just like gets a little closer?
So, the time that it takes to fix is variable. Because it'll take a depending on why they have the eye misalignment,
Mm,
we may take a little bit longer to decide if we want to get have them have surgery or not. So, say it was like a baby who was born with the eye crossing in. we would fix that as soon as possible because we want to give them the chance to be able to use their eyes well together at
Yeah.
the earliest ages possible. So instead of moving the pupil, we literally move the entire like the muscles in the eye. So we don't actually touch the eyeball. We touch the muscles that lie outside the eye, and we just adjust those muscles. So then those muscles will like move the eye to wherever it needs to go. But I personally don't do any surgeries. The doctor does all of that. I'm nowhere to be found in the surgery part.
Okay.
But it moves the whole eye. And then the outcomes of surgery are variable. Sometimes people are straight, stay straight for a long time and like don't need another surgery. Sometimes they're straight and then the eye moves again and they'll need a second surgery. Sometimes surgery just doesn't work and we need to either keep doing surgery or we're just like, there's nothing else we can do. But it's so, like, the eyes are so variable.
Interesting. That's crazy. Okay. We've known each other for a long time. Tell us your path from like high school to college to how you ended up where you are currently.
Okay. So high school, went to David W. Butler High School. And then college, I did undergraduate at Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia. Graduated in 2019, did a year off to work as an ophthalmic technician. And then after that, I did a 2-year fellowship in Boston, Massachusetts, and it's the Orthoptics Fellowship Program. So for this career, you don't need any like medical school or anything, just 4 years of undergrad, and then you go straight into the fellowship. So it's a 2-year program. The program that I went to was a joint program between Boston Children's Hospital and Tufts Hospital. So I did that for 2 years and went between both of those hospitals, learning and doing everything. And then got a job in Atlanta as a pediatric orthoptist after I passed my board exams.
Okay, nice. How is like the job demand, like the market for like eye muscle
Oh,
specialists?
this job is really high in demand. Like
Nice.
and then like the programs accept either 1 or 2 students a year. There are only 12 programs in the United States and they only accept 1 to 2 students. But there are so many doctors that need us. So this career is actually very high in demand. But
So
yeah.
is like is the fellowship, how like rigorous is like the academics in like that program?
I personally would say it's pretty rigorous. Like I feel like this is, for me, it was a lot of information to learn in a 2-year span. But the way my program did it was like you were learning all that information in 1 year and then getting tested on all that information the second year. But I just think the way that I learned the information slower than the school was teaching it. Like it took me a while to grasp everything that that I was learning. So I ended up taking an extra year. So the program is 2 years, but I ended up staying for 3 years because I just needed extra time to figure out what I was learning before I took this board exam. Like I was just like, it's not clicking. But that 3rd year, it all clicked together for me. But it took a while.
So you have to kind of be like licensed almost or certified to
yes,
practice.
you have to get board certified for this career.
Yeah. Okay. Give us like Peyton's day to day and like the evolution of when you first started to like if your job has changed when you first started to like currently.
Okay, so when I first started, I was so like we'll see all different types of patients. So not just strabismus patients. So when I first started, I was like basically I was seeing any and everything, but I would have the technicians. So it's kind of like levels. You have like technicians who do like the first part before they see the doctor. Then you have me where like if the technicians have a new patient who they're here because parents are noticing an eye misalignment or parents like that's not the real reason why they're here, but parents say I think the eyes cross, then the technician comes and grabs me and I do a whole bunch of measurements and tests and things to see if the eyes cross. So when I first started, I was doing like the first workup where I'm asking all the history questions, checking vision, doing all the things that they need to have done before they see the doctor. And then I would do that. And then once they started getting used to me being there, they would have me not really do the workup part and just come in for if the techs had a new patient or if they had a patient that already had an eye misalignment. An eye misalignment is also another term for that is strabismus. So I'll probably use that to to
Okay.
make it easier. But if a patient had strabismus and was already seen and followed for the strabismus, but parents were like, I think it's changed, I think it's getting worse, they would call me. Or if the patient or the parent wanted to have surgery for the strabismus, then they would call me to see them. So like vision, pressure, checking pupils, those things, those basic things would already be done. And they're just calling me to say, hey, I need you to do strabismus measurements. So I would do that. And now I actually started today. I have my own clinics where I'm basically like the provider and doctor. So patients will come see me. I basically do the whole workup, vision, but for my exams, I'm like, I don't need to know your eye pressure and I don't need to know your, like, if your pupils dilate to the light, because that's not what you're here for me for. But
Yeah.
I do like a history, vision, and I do the measurements for the strabismus, and then I give them a diagnosis and tell them what they need to do, and then have them follow up with me in a little bit. So that's how my schedule is now, and that just started today. But I still do the other stuff where I'm like in clinic and like checking patients that are new and all that stuff. But I have my own clinics on top of that now.
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are the possibilities of growth within like being an eye muscle specialist? Like, can you become like a like? Okay, so, yeah, I guess you can answer.
Like, so I feel like I don't really know if there's really much else I can do because I'm already somewhat at the level of a provider. Like, I feel like I already made those steps so far. So, like, that's really the most I can do. I will never be able to do surgery unless I want to get a certification for that, but I do not. Um, and I think this is really it. Like the max is just me being able to see patients on my own.
Okay.
And then I can
What?
do like research and stuff too. I can do research on like, new eye tests to help with vision and stuff. I can do like whatever research possibilities there are, I can work in that too. I just haven't
Okay.
started research yet.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
for you mentioned surgery. So if you wanted to do surgery in the future, all you would need is a certification, and you would be
I
kind of
think so. That I'm actually not certain of, but I'm pretty sure I've met an orthoptist that was certified to assist in surgery. I would not be cutting anything up or doing anything, but I think I was told I could do something to be certified to help in surgery if I was needed, but no, thank you.
okay. If,
Mhm.
imagine if you were a younger you, like let's say 18, you just graduated presently, but you have like all like your current knowledge. Would you
Mhm.
do anything differently in your journey?
I would. I say this all the time, but when I applied for this program, I tried to find YouTube videos about what I was getting into because I had never heard of this career before, and I couldn't find any YouTube video that explained it well or told me what this entailed. And then when I got accepted to the program, one thing I wish I had done was I wish that I asked them ahead of time for like what kind of study material they think I should, or like what kind of books or literature things they think I should be reading or knowing. Like, what
Yeah.
basic information they would want me to know coming in so that it's easier for me to learn, because I applied during COVID. So I'm sitting at home not doing anything. I would have had all the time in the world to read that or like look at that material, but I
Yeah.
didn't think to ask for it because I came in not having an understanding of anything. Actually, I thought my retina clinic experience would help, but this is everything I'm doing is in the front of the eye. So my retina stuff, which is the back of the eye, did
Yeah.
not help me at all. So if I had known that this is going to be completely different, I would have asked for like materials to look at before starting the program
Okay.
to get a basic understanding of what I was getting myself into or what terminology I should be knowing going in here.
Okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned it earlier that like it's only like 12 fellowships in the United States and like 2 to 3 people per fellowship. Do you see like that number increasing like in the future, or is it kind of like always going to be like that tight?
I'm not sure. This, since it's not known about, I do hope it increases. I know my program was at one point considering having 3 people, so I think it might, and I hope it might, but
Yeah.
I really don't know. I really do hope it does because it's honestly really cool, but I just don't think people think about the eyes when they think about medical careers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe. Yeah. My wife's her mom had surgery today on her eye. So I guess if it's like close to you, you think about it. But like if it's
Yeah,
not, like you don't like at all, I think.
exactly.
And I got PRK like 2 years ago. Yeah, so I know a little bit about some, I guess, some
Mm-hmm.
version of eye care, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, well that's the first half of the first interview. We're gonna go to the not so speed round. We're gonna ask you some they're speed questions, but you like they're not necessarily speed questions. So the first question is, what are 4 words that describe an eye muscle specialist?
4 words. Strabismus, prisms, um, prisms. Let me think about some more words.
Like qualities, I'll give you a little
Oh,
some hit like qualities that I guess you exhibit while you're being an eye
okay.
muscle specialist. So
Dang. Okay. Well, then I can't think of just words, but I'm like, but like some other things, like you have to have like a love for children because
mm,
we primarily see children. Oh, patience. Patience is a great one. You
okay.
have to have patience. Um, and I would say confidence too. You have to be like confident in the numbers that you find and like in the things that you're doing.
Okay.
And just knowledgeable.
Okay.
There we
Why
go.
elaborate on patience?
Because you work with children and you work with a wide range of children. So you work with like people that are on the autism spectrum. You work with kids that just like, ADHD and like they're all over the place. You work with kids that are raised in a way that you either were not raised or would not raise your children, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So you work with just a wide range. So you have to have patience in order to deal with those and to like get the best exam that you can and just like keep trying to push them to get the best exam. And then also, even with kids that aren't misbehaved, but they're like you have some kids that are just really shy and don't want to and are afraid to answer or do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like you just have to be able to navigate all of those and just have a lot of patience to try and get the best exam that you possibly can with all of those things.
Okay. I love it. Okay.
Mhm.
What's a profession that's like most similar to being an eye muscle specialist that you would think?
Hmm. Most similar. I would say being a technician. So that's like below an orthoptist, but I would say it's similar because we do a lot of the same things. They just don't do eye muscles.
Mm,
At my job, since they didn't have an eye muscle specialist for some years, the technicians learned how to do the eye muscle part, but
mm,
they don't know all the extra tests that you need to do after you just measure their misalignment.
mm,
So like I know all the like different tests, like if I'm getting different numbers for like their strabismus when they look at something up close versus what they look at something far away, I know the extra tests to do in order to figure out why the numbers are different. And they don't know that. So that would be like the closest, but also the other closest would be the actual ophthalmologist because they were also trained to do the muscle things, but I don't know if they do the extra tests that I do. I just don't know if they do them. But they were
okay.
also trained to do the muscles. But we're just somewhere in the middle of those two.
Okay. I like it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What does society look like without eye muscle specialists?
Without eye muscle specialist, I think it just looks like very overworked and tired ophthalmologists.
Mm,
Like, because some of the tests and things that we do help take a burden off of them. So, like, I give adults temporary prisms to put on their glasses, or I put prisms, like round in prisms, in their glasses. And that is something that is very time consuming. Like, I did it today on a patient, and it literally took an hour and a half to find the right ones for the patient.
So what's
So,
a prism? It's like a
um, it's like a pyramid type of well,
okay.
the ones we hold, they're like a little pyramid type of shape, and we put them in like so the smallest part of it is supposed to be like where the actual object that you're looking at is, and or no, I might be explaining this wrong. Basically, it helps shift your eyes and like what image your eye is looking at.
Okay. Okay.
So it helps make your eye more aligned.
Mm,
Or it helps make the image become single instead of you seeing two images. Because we usually use that for people who have double vision. And we help make the vision single instead of double.
okay. Nice. Okay.
Hmm.
Nice. All right.
Hmm.
Give us the good, bad, and ugly about being an eye muscle specialist.
Okay, the good is that you're helping people.
Yeah.
The good is always that you're helping people. Another good for me is that like I'm somebody that loves children. So I get to have a fun time just like being goofy with children. Um and then the bad, is there a bad? I'm not sure if there's really a bad. I mean, for me, because I actually just love what I do. I think the only bad would be is if like you can't like if what you're doing actually cannot help them or you can't find a resolution with what you're doing. So like today I had a patient who had double vision, and this is the one that took us an hour and a half. We were trying to find all the solutions, and then we couldn't resolve his problem with the double image because he had a lot of other eye issues that my prisms could not fix. So it's like you go through all that work and ultimately you can't help the person. So I would think that would be like the bad. And then the ugly, at least the ugly for me was like just retaining all of that information because it's so much to learn like that, like trying to remember everything and applying it. Sometimes I forget some things and it just messes me up, or like trying to re-explain some of the things that's going on. I know I'm not the best at explaining things and I'm working on it, but sometimes trying to articulate what you're seeing or like answering questions for the patients, sometimes that's hard for me. So that would be my ugly, is that are like trying to explain to the patients what the issue is or what you're finding can be hard.
Okay. What so you is like not being able to like solve like the eye issue, is that common or is it kind of like rare for you? Y'all
For adults, I would say it's fairly common because adults are like really complicated. Only because sometimes the adults have already had prior surgery, so it makes the reasons why their eyes are misaligned a little more difficult and not as straightforward as with kids. And then other times, like as you get older, you just have more problems happening, like more medical issues and stuff just over time. So there could be like a whole list of factors that's contributing to it. And like you almost can never make them happy. And then sometimes you have adults who think they know more than you. So then that's where it becomes another issue. And you're just like, okay, well, I don't know what I can do to help you because you already know the answer. But yeah, so like, but also it's mainly their business is just more difficult because of other factors that come with just being older.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. Okay. Are you underpaid or overpaid as an eye muscle specialist?
I actually think as a first level eye muscle specialist, entry level, just starting out, I am paid exactly what I am supposed to be paid.
Fairly. Okay, I like it. Okay.
I am paid very fairly.
Nice. Okay. What's one person, book, or event that changed the trajectory of your life and why?
Change the trajectory. Okay. I would say it was when I was in school. So like I said, I was struggling in school. So there was one point where like I was going through and this is Boston. So let's remember I am in Boston, Massachusetts. So let's remember this because that's important. So it was a point where I was doing bad in school. The school was trying to help me, but like at that time, I was like the first student to be doing bad in school. But this program was also very new.
Yeah.
This is a very new program. So I'm probably so I'm actually the fifth student that this program had ever had.
Oh man.
Ever. So it's very new. So I was the first person to ever like be struggling, and I was struggling and not asking for help because I'm like, I know I'm not the only one that sees me struggling. I thought that they would know to help me, but of course not. So, but no, like, it taught me to like ask more for help, but they're thinking that I'm not trying and so I had to have a meeting with my program directors about it. And they're like, telling me that they don't think I'm trying. So then I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all my emotions are like building up. So I start crying, but I'm like, I don't say anything because I'm somebody that like, I'm learning to speak up for myself, but I'm not saying anything in that moment. So then they're like, okay, we can see this is a lot for you. So we're going to circle back and have another meeting another time. And I'm like, okay, I get all my thoughts out, write it down. I come back to them and I'm like, y'all don't think I'm trying, but I'm going through a lot in this program. Like, I'm the only black face I see in this building every single day. I have y'all did not make me feel welcomed, wanted, or warranted like when I came in. But I blame most of that on COVID because nobody was really happy in the middle of COVID because I joined in the middle of COVID.
True.
But in that time, I was like, I don't feel welcomed here. I don't see nobody else like me to also make me feel welcomed. I'm
Yeah.
getting called racial slurs by patients. So I'm like, nothing about this, like emotionally, I'm not, like, I'm trying my best, but I feel like I got a lot going against me emotionally. So I'm
Yeah.
struggling. So, and then I'm like, y'all sitting here saying I'm not trying. Y'all aren't even coming to me like, Peyton, what's going on? Like, do you need help? Like, y'all see me struggling and are just assuming I don't want to be here. Y'all aren't even trying to, like, y'all not trying to help. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like listing all of these grievances and things out, and they're like, wow, we had no idea this was going on. And I'm like, yeah, you didn't. So then after that, like that really changed the whole trajectory. They were like, we're sorry for our part. And they definitely like tried to help me. They felt like they were working so hard to make sure I understood this information. And like we're having like trying to teach me the material in different ways, trying to give me like more quizzes. And like they're asking me like they're asking me how else I want to try and learn the information or what I think would be best. They're working very hard to make sure that I'm understanding the information now. And I think after having that conversation, I felt more comfortable asking for help. I felt more comfortable asking questions.
Yeah.
Like having that blatant conversation really turned it around and made me feel like, okay, I'm in an environment that actually wants to see me succeed. Because at first I wasn't feeling that. But and then they also like addressed the racist stuff too within the hospital. It wasn't like it was never from any of the people working in the hospital. It was always patients. And like so like there was one patient that ended up dismissing for the racial slur that they called me. And then other patients would just say stupid stuff like, is that your real hair? Or like dumb stuff like that. Then we had a patient tell me, I love the way you people do those small hairs. Talk about these. And I'm like,
I'm weak. So do you still get like racial slurs in your day to day now, or
no? Being in Atlanta, almost everybody looks like me. I don't get none of that.
Yeah, it's not funny, but I mean, it's like it's almost normal. Like it, like
yeah. Because I was just like, okay, like getting the little, oh, is this your real hair thing? I'm used to that. That's fine. But it was like, but it got to a point like people were trying to touch my hair, and I'm like, yo, leave me alone. Yes.
Yeah, it's overbearing because people don't understand.
And I'm like, yeah.
I want to go into like your class. So it was only 2 students. So like,
Yes.
was it only like one professor than you guys, or like were you in like bigger classes, or how was like the teaching?
So the way it worked, most of the stuff we learned was clinic based. So most of it was us being in the hospital working underneath one of the eye muscle specialists. So one hospital had about like 6 eye muscle specialists. The other one had just 1 eye muscle specialist. So when we were in the clinic that had the 6 muscle specialists, they gave us a schedule and we were with a different specialist each day. And like, and those eye muscle specialists worked under an ophthalmologist. So we were working in a different doctor's clinic every day and learning different techniques and learning different things and like specializing in different stuff, like just getting more practice in under these different orthoptists. So we did that. And then if we were at the other hospital, we were with that just that one orthoptist. And then for the classes were always on Zoom. And so they would be sometime in the evening after clinic. We didn't have class every night, but we had them like maybe once or twice a week. But it would be with one of those orthoptists that we were with during the day. It like may not have been with them that day, but one of the ones that we work with regularly, they would teach us a certain topic. A different one would teach us another topic. And I think we'd have like maybe 3 topics. Then we'd have a test on those 3 topics somewhere at the end of the month. So, or like in 2 months.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, that's how the days would go.
Man, that's definitely rigorous. Okay, last question of the interview. Let's say somebody's watching this interview. They say, "Hey, I want to be an eye muscle specialist," but they're like, let's say they're 18, fresh out of high school. What are the steps that you give them to get where you're at currently?
I would recommend some books to them. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I have to go look for them. But I would recommend them books to read before. There are now some YouTube videos that are a little bit more helpful about what you would be doing. I would also, what would I tell them? I would tell them like you gotta just love kids. Like I'm like I feel like that is so important. Like having like liking being around kids is
Yeah.
like so important because they can feel if you are enjoying what you do or if you're genuine or not. Like they can tell and they will respond off of you. And what else would I say? Like I said earlier, get a knowledge of everything beforehand or of some things beforehand so that you
Yeah.
aren't going in blindsided.
Okay.
And then if you decide not to go into school, like into the fellowship program right after, try and work somewhere medical based. Try and like have a job somewhere medical based in that gap year or gap time so that you do at some point have a general understanding of what you're looking at or what you're doing. And it could look better when you apply for the fellowship that you did something medical.
Okay, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
How can people find Peyton, like on, so if you want, like social media and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Peyton. That's about it. Yeah, I don't think I'm anywhere else. I'm on TikTok, but I don't be doing nothing on TikTok. So, but it's Peyton, Peyton.
Perfect. Okay, and I'll put it in the thumbnail so people can reach out
Okay.
to. Peyton, it's been a pleasure having
Oh my
you on
gosh,
here
it's
learning about a whole new. I know when I reached out to you, but I saw you posted on Instagram. I was like, well, I never heard that profession before. So it was really interesting learning about it. And like, I learned a lot today, honestly. It's probably like been like my most informative interview because I think you're the first person I've had on here that had a profession that I've never heard of before. And it's so like,
thank
it's so
you.
yeah, so we really appreciate having you on here. Everybody, if you stay tuned in this long, please comment, like, subscribe, reach out to Peyton if you have any questions. And y'all have a nice day.